Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're pulling back the curtain on some critical tools in farming, stuff often unseen.
Absolutely. Things that really underpin global food security, modern agriculture.
Exactly. We're talking about the science that, well, helps put food on your table. And today we're zeroing in on one specific insecticide. It's called flubendiamide.
Right, flubendiamide, and it's quite important.
It really is. It's not just any chemical. It's part of a newer generation known for being quite targeted.
Targeted action, yeah, particularly against things like caterpillars, major crop pests.
And the key thing is, it tends to minimize the impact on beneficial insects. Think bees, for example.
Which is huge, environmentally speaking.
Definitely. It makes it a crucial development for farmers looking for, let's say, more sustainable ways to protect their crops, their yields.
Sustainable and effective.
So our mission here for this deep dive is basically to give you a shortcut, a way to understand the global flubendiamide market right now, and maybe more importantly, why its trends matter.
Yeah, the bigger picture.
We've waded through, well, a lot of data, pulled out the key insights, and honestly, some surprising facts about its growth and impact globally.
That's right. And just so you know where this is coming from, all our insights today are directly from the Cognitive Market Research Flubendiamide Market Report 2025, the global edition.
A very comprehensive source.
Oh, yeah. It's really packed with the figures that tell the story of this vital agricultural tool.
Okay, so let's start broad. The global snapshot. What's the big picture look like?
Well, back in 2021, the global market revenue was already pretty substantial. We're talking $417.215 million.
Over 417 million.
Okay.
It's growing. By 2025, the projection is nearly $500 million. $499.1 million to be
It's
exact.
almost $500 million soon. Wow. But it doesn't stop there, does it?
Not at all. The forecast out to 2033, it gets really interesting. It's projected to hit $714.238 million.
Wow, over 714 million. That's a huge jump. It feels like more than just market growth.
It signals something bigger, yeah, like a fundamental long-term investment in protecting, well, our global food supply. And there's a specific growth rate associated with this, right? The CAGR.
Exactly. The compound annual growth rate, or CAGR. It stands at 4.582%.
Which sounds pretty healthy, consistent.
Very healthy, very consistent. That steady upward trend, it's a strong indicator of sustained global expansion.
It's not just a blip then.
No, it's a clear, predictable trajectory. It really paints a picture of a world becoming more reliant on these targeted solutions like flubendiamide to ensure food security.
Okay. So that's the global view. But the real story, I imagine, is how different regions contribute to that.
Precisely. When we break it down regionally, you see how different parts of the world are not just contributing, but actually shaping this overall picture. It gets fascinating.
All right, let's do that. Let's peel back the layers, continent by continent. Where should we start? North America.
Sounds good. North America. In 2021, revenues there were around $107 million.
Okay, solid base.
Projected to grow to over $124 million by 2025. And then looking out to 2033, nearly $170 million.
So steady growth. What's the CAGR there?
It's about 3.9%. Solid, steady growth, like you said.
So in a mature market like North America, what's driving that continued demand? Is it just more acres or something else?
That's a great question. Within North America, the U.S. is the clear leader, obviously, expected to grow from about $87 million in 2021 to over $136 million by 2033.
Okay.
Canada and Mexico, they're also showing consistent progress, just on a smaller scale.
Right.
But that steady growth in an established market, it often reflects this continuous push for yield optimization.
Getting more out of every acre.
Exactly. Farmers are always trying to maximize output, manage new pest resistance challenges that pop up.
Makes it.
So targeted solutions like flubendiamide become really valuable tools in their toolkit.
That optimization angle definitely resonates.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe. How does it compare?
Europe's market was worth nearly $84 million back in 2021.
A bit smaller than North America then.
A bit smaller, yeah. On track to hit around $98 million by 2025 and then over $135 million by 2033.
And the growth rate, the CAGR.
Just over 4%. So a slightly higher growth rate than North America, actually.
Interesting. Are the drivers similar? Or is there a different dynamic in Europe?
Well, yield optimization is always part of it, of course. But Europe's agricultural sector, being very mature, often focuses on, let's say, very specific priorities: regulations, sustainability.
Right, the policy landscape is different.
Very different. Germany, for example, is a real standout. Its revenue is projected to go from about $17.7 million in 2021 to over $30.5 million by 2033.
Strong growth in Germany.
Yeah. The UK is also a significant contributor, and you see stable increases across France, Italy, Spain, Sweden, all the key players.
So what does that consistent growth signal in Europe specifically?
I think what it really indicates, especially in Europe, is this ongoing shift, moving away from older, broader spectrum pesticides.
The ones that might harm beneficials more.
Exactly, and moving towards more targeted, arguably more environmentally conscious options like Flubendiamide.
Sure.
It fits right into that push for precision agriculture, integrated pest management.
Okay, so a story of steady adoption and maybe replacement of older tech there.
Yeah.
Now, if North America and Europe are showing steady growth, where's the really explosive action happening? I think you mentioned Asia-Pacific earlier.
Ah, yes, Asia-Pacific. This region, well, it holds the most promising growth, and the numbers really bear that out. It's quite dramatic.
Okay, hit me with the numbers.
All right. Started around $177 million in 2021, expected to surge past $215 million by 2025.
Already big jump.
But then, by 2033, it's projected to explode to over $322 million.
Wow, over $322 million. That's huge.
Yeah.
What's the CGR behind that?
Over 5.1%, a massive CGR.
Okay, 5.1%. So what is fueling this incredible surge across Asia-Pacific?
It really comes down to the profound impact of rapid agricultural modernization happening across the region.
Modernization. Makes sense.
China's a top contributor, naturally, growing from about $49 million in 2021 to over $91 million projected for 2033.
Big numbers from China.
But India truly stands out here as the highest growth rate in the region, soared from nearly $28 million in 2021 to a projected $55.4 million by 2033. That CAGR is almost 5.9%.
Nearly 6% CAGR in India.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. What's behind that specifically? Is it just more farming?
It's a combination of factors. It's not just general modernization. It's driven by increasing demand for higher value crops.
Okay.
Expanding agricultural land under cultivation, yes, but also a growing awareness among farmers about advanced pest control solutions.
So they're adopting new tech faster.
Effectively, yeah. They're kind of leapfrogging some older technologies to improve efficiency and yields much faster.
And it's not just China and India, right? Other countries are involved.
Oh, absolutely. Japan, South Korea, Singapore, various countries across Southeast Asia, they're all showing really strong upward trends as well. It's a compelling story across the board. And meeting modern solutions.
Fascinating. Okay, let's pivot now. South America. What's the picture there?
South America. This market grew from around $24 million in 2021, projected to hit over $29 million in 2025.
Okay.
And the 2033 projection is over $43 million.
And the growth rate?
Pretty robust, almost 4.9% CAGR, so strong growth there too.
Nearly 5%. Is it driven by similar forces as Asia-Pacific, or are there unique factors at play in South America?
There are definitely parallels, yes. Brazil leads the continent specifically. It was just under $9.5 million in 2021, climbing towards over $16.6 million by 2033.
Brazil's a huge agricultural player.
Massive. And what's particularly striking as you look at Argentina, Colombia, Chile, they're all reflecting PAGRs above 5%.
Wow, so pockets of even faster growth.
Exactly. And this strong growth across South America, it's often linked to the expansion of large-scale commercial farming. Think export-oriented crops.
Like soybeans? Okay.
Precisely. Soybeans, corn, these high-value crops, they absolutely require reliable pest protection to ensure optimal yields for the global markets.
So using something like Flubendiamide becomes a critical investment for them.
Absolutely critical. It's all about maintaining that competitive edge in global agricultural trade, protecting those valuable exports.
Makes sense. Okay, 2 more regions to touch on. Let's head over to the Middle East. What's the story there?
The Middle East market is set to grow from nearly $15 million in 2021 to over $17.5 million by 2025.
Right.
And then up to almost $26 million by 2033. The CAGR there is nearly 4.85%.
So again, pretty healthy growth. What's driving demand in the Middle East? It's not always the first region you think of for massive agriculture.
True, but there are interesting dynamics. It's often related to diversifying economies and actually increasing investments in agriculture, even in areas with, more challenging growing conditions.
Right, like water scarcity issues, etc.
Exactly. The UAE, for instance, is expanding notably, from about $2.7 million in 2021 to over $5 million projected by 2033. That's a particularly high CAGR, over 5.4%.
Higher than the regional average. Interesting.
Yeah. And Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, they're also making significant positive contributions.
So what does that suggest?
It suggests a growing focus on food security within the region and boosting efficient agricultural practices, maybe trying to reduce reliance on food imports by boosting local production where possible.
That makes perfect sense. A strategic focus, then. Okay, and finally, Africa. What are we seeing there?
Africa. The market revenue moved from nearly $11 million in 2021 to almost $14 million projected for 2025.
Okay, smaller numbers to start with.
Smaller numbers, yes. Expected to hit just over $19 million by 2033. The CAGR is around 4%.
4%. Still growth, but maybe not the explosive rates we saw elsewhere. What does this tell us about the agricultural landscape in Africa?
Well, countries like South Africa and Nigeria are showing steady growth, but perhaps at a, let's say, different pace than India or Brazil.
Right.
It reflects a market that's definitely developing, has strong fundamentals, but often has different immediate priorities.
Right.
So while the adoption of modern agricultural chemicals like flubendiamide is increasing, it might be more focused initially on essential food crops, basic yield protection.
Foundational needs first.
Exactly. As agricultural practices continue to evolve across the diverse continent, it's more of a foundational growth, really laying the groundwork for future expansion down the line.
That provides great context. Okay, we've toured the globe. Let's pull this all together. What does this mean for you, our listener? What's the big takeaway?
I think pulling all these regional stories and numbers together, the most important finding is that clear picture of consistent, widespread global expansion for flubendiamide.
It's growing pretty much everywhere, just at different speeds.
Exactly. And we're seeing particularly strong, almost, as you said, explosive growth across Asia, Pacific, and South America.
Right, alongside that steady, solid progress in the established markets like North America and Europe.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the why behind it, the reason for this optimism is pretty clear, I think.
What is it?
It's this powerful combination. On one hand, you have increasing adoption of these highly effective targeted chemicals in emerging markets.
Where food demand is just soaring.
Precisely. And that's coupled with sustained, precision-driven demand in the established agricultural economies who are always looking to optimize and use better tools.
So this market isn't just growing for growth's sake.
No, it feels like a vital part of this ongoing global effort to, well, feed a growing population more efficiently and hopefully more sustainably.
Which brings us to the question for you, the listener. Thinking about all this, what does this consistent, widespread growth in the market for one specific targeted insecticide like flubendiamide really signify?
Yeah, what does it mean for the future of agriculture, for food production, even for the everyday food choices that end up on your table?
It certainly highlights our continuing reliance on these kinds of advanced tools, doesn't it? To ensure food security, maximize yields, in a world that really needs every calorie it can produce.
It does. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Given this sustained growth, this trajectory for flubendiamide, it really pushes us to consider some deeper implications.
Like what?
Well, about the future of pest management overall. How do we, as a global society, keep balancing this undeniable need for agricultural innovation, for yield increases,
Absolutely need.
with the equally critical imperative for environmental stewardship, protecting biodiversity, soil health, water quality?
It's a tough balancing act.
It is. And what does this ongoing investment in powerful targeted chemicals tell us about the long-term resilience, the sustainability of our entire global food supply chain?
That's definitely something to chew on. Lots to ponder there about the agricultural landscape of tomorrow and the crucial role these often unseen chemical workhorses play in it.
Absolutely. A lot to think about. Welcome to a deep dive crafted just for you. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the flubendiamide market. It's a powerful force in global agriculture.
Right.
Our mission to really understand its rapid growth, the significant hurdles it's navigating, and the compelling trends shaping its future. Think of it as your express lane to, getting up to speed on a critical piece of the food security puzzle. Okay, Let's explore this.
And for someone like you who's keen on understanding what truly sustains our world, this isn't just about some chemical compound.
No, it's more fundamental.
Exactly. It's fundamentally about how we support global food security
Hmm.
and ensuring higher crop yields, especially in those vital agricultural regions that feed millions.
It's almost mind-boggling, isn't it, how effective some of these solutions are? So what's the core reason flubendiamide has become such an, indispensable tool in crop protection, particularly against those notorious lepidopteran pests?
What's truly fascinating here is its precision. Flubendiamide is a formidable opponent for those caterpillar-like pests.
The ones that devastate crops.
Yes, major crops like rice, cotton, soybean, and a whole range of vegetables. Its action is long-lasting and incredibly target-specific, almost surgically precise, you could say.
Surgically precise, I
Yeah.
like that.
It means it hits the intended pest hard without, broadly impacting other elements in the field.
Yeah.
For farmers battling heavy infestations, especially during critical growth stages, it's not just a tool, it's really a lifeline.
That precision sounds like a game changer. But beyond just like effective pest control, what makes flubendiamide stand out in terms of its broader value, especially with this push for more sustainable farming?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture,
Mm.
its compatibility with integrated pest management, or IPM, is a huge win.
IPM, right.
And this isn't just technical jargon. It signifies a move away from blanket spraying towards a smarter, more environmentally conscious strategy.
Okay.
And here's where it gets even more compelling.
Mm-hmm.
Its favorable environmental profile. Unlike many older, broad-spectrum insecticides that could, inadvertently harm beneficial insects.
Like bees.
Exactly. Flubendiamide, when used correctly, poses minimal risk to mammals and, crucially, to beneficial pollinators like bees. Its low environmental persistence means it doesn't linger. And it fits beautifully into resistance management programs. That makes it a remarkably sustainable solution, kind of aligned with modern agricultural goals.
It sounds almost too good to be true, this blend of power and precision. But in a field this complex, there are always significant hurdles, aren't there?
Oh, absolutely.
What are the biggest challenges flubendiamide is currently navigating?
This raises an important question. Regulatory scrutiny is a major one. For instance, the U.S. has seen past restrictions due to environmental concerns, even with its generally favorable profile.
Right, I remember reading about that.
Yeah, this kind of complex approval process and regulatory uncertainty can seriously slow down or even block market expansion in key regions. It's a constant balancing act between innovation and, rigorous oversight.
And beyond the regulatory landscape, what about the pests themselves? Are they adapting, creating new challenges?
Absolutely. The risk of pest resistance is an ever-present threat. It really is.
So overuse is a problem.
Definitely. If flubendiamide is overused or applied without proper rotation strategies, pests will evolve. It reduces its long-term effectiveness. This demands careful integration, into a holistic pest control strategy.
Makes sense.
And of course, as patents expire, lower-cost generic alternatives flood the market.
Ah, the generics.
Right. While this democratizes access, which is good, it also creates intense price competition, and it squeezes profit margins for the premium brands, especially in price-sensitive agricultural economies.
So despite these significant headwinds, where are we seeing the most encouraging signs? Like growth or innovation for flubendiamide?
Interestingly, we're seeing increased use in combination formulations, often with compounds like diacloprid or the sidimiprid.
Oh, mixing it with others?
Exactly. This strategy is brilliant because it not only broadens the spectrum of pest control, but also acts as a crucial resistance management tool. It effectively delays the onset of resistance and offers farmers a more robust solution.
That's smart. Very smart. And in terms of global demand, are there particular regions really driving its adoption?
Definitely. There's a notable surge in demand from Asia-Pacific nations. Think India, China, and Japan.
Asia Pacific. Okay. Why there specifically?
It's primarily fueled by the sheer prevalence of lepidopteran pests in their extensive rice and vegetable cultivation. Combine that with the urgent need to boost food production for growing populations.
And government support.
And strong governmental support for advanced crop protection. Yes, you have a perfect storm for accelerated regional market growth. Ultimately, flubendiamide, with its precision and lower environmental footprint, is becoming a bit of a poster child for the sustainable agriculture movement.
Right.
It fits perfectly with goals of reducing environmental harm and sparing beneficial insects through precise targeting and IPM.
So what does this all mean for us? It's clear that flubendiamide, despite navigating a highly dynamic market, continues to be a truly crucial and evolving player in global crop protection, essential for securing our food supply, really.
Absolutely. And it leaves you with this to consider: the complex, continuous balancing act between developing powerful agricultural solutions that feed billions and our shared, profound responsibility to protect the environment. It truly makes you think differently about every step in the journey from the farm right to your table.